Rail is more efficient in a number of ways, but one of the most important ways is our efficiency around emissions. Freight rail is about 3 to 4 times more fuel efficient than long-haul trucking. A train will carry the equivalent of 300 or so large trucks. So rail is part of the climate solution, and we're part of driving the economy and the growth in the economy in a manner that's sustainable. Well, CN has been powering the economy and the growth of the economy in North America for more than 100 years. Back in 1995, CN transformed from Canadian National Railways, which was a Crown corporation, into a public company. And since then, we've grown a network that's become the backbone of the North American rail infrastructure. We serve hundreds of communities and customers across the continent. When we connect those customers to markets within North America, and we connect them to global markets around the world through ports on the East Coast, on the West Coast, and in the Gulf Coast.
CN is proud to have been the first railroad in North America to issue a sustainability report aligned to global reporting standards. We're really proud of being the first North American railway and amongst the first 100 companies globally to set a science-based target, and to be the first North American railway to commit to setting a net zero 2050 target.
CN has a very unique franchise, is where we serve 3 key petrochemical hubs: the industrial heartland in Alberta, the US Gulf Coast, and then southwestern Ontario. These 3 key hubs actually produce about 80% of the petroleum chemicals in and around North America. CN serves that directly, which allows our customers to access their feedstocks, get to their end markets, again, just using one single line rail carrier, which is fabulous for them to lower their greenhouse gas effects. Sustainability is in our DNA. We're trying to deliver responsibly and create the railroad of the future. It's what we can do as we do it for future generations.
The more consistent that we can run our trains at a steady speed, reduce our throttling up and down, the less fuel we burn. So ultimately, I like to say we need to stop stopping trains. And that's an initiative always that we have in place to reduce railroad disruptions, which results in better customer service overall. From a technology standpoint, Trip Optimizer, there's also HPTA, Horsepower Tonnage Analyzer, which basically aligns the appropriate horsepower to the tonnage you have in the train to ensure that you're not using excess horsepower and, again, creating more emissions when you don't have to.
At CN, it's important to us that our customers, that our communities, that our employees are all part of the future that we're imagining. And we're going to get there through collaboration.
CN and Progress Rail, a locomotive manufacturer, are partnering with Chevron's Renewable Energy Group, a fuel producer, to test high-level renewable fuel blends, including biodiesel and renewable diesel, on CN locomotives to meet our sustainability goals. This program is going to help us better understand the long-term durability as well as the operational impacts of using these fuels on our locomotives, especially in cold weather. It's also going to help us identify modifications that may be needed either on the locomotive or in terms of maintenance activities to fully leverage their usage over the next decade. It's important to do trials as well as qualifications of up to 100% bio-based fuels in order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from our existing fleet of locomotives, and successful testing as well as successful procurement of bio-based fuels is a part of our portfolio of initiatives to meet our 2030 science-based emission reduction target.
Some of the trains we handle are 18,000, 19,000 tons. What we do here not only affects us, but communities. Computers have a big part of locomotives now. We have a PTC that's telling us what's 7 miles ahead of us. We can plan a little better how we're going to run our train.
We have what we call notch restrictions. It limits the amount of power that we give the locomotive. That saves fuel, thereby saving greenhouse gas emissions. Also, we shut these locomotives down pretty much every chance we get. We have put a lot of measures into place, saving fuel, saving greenhouse gases. It's an efficient way to ship freight, that's for sure.
You can have all these procedures in place, but it's up to the individual employee to follow the rules and do the right thing. We have a big impact out here.
The indigenous communities are important to our business, and they're important to our future. We want to work alongside them across our full network. Their connection to community, their connection to the land, their advice, and their counsel is really important to us as we build a more sustainable future.
For CN, sustainability is about meeting the needs of the present without compromising the future. Through our EcoConnections employee engagement program and the various initiatives that have really been grassroots and come from our employee base, since 2011 have generated savings in excess of $50 million. What's good for the planet is also good for the company.
CN operates through hundreds of communities across North America. We all live in those communities. Those are our communities. What makes CN different is we are the heart and the soul of every community across this continent. And that positions us to think with them about how to create a future where we can drive growth, to give us the ability to access the right markets. And we can do it together in a way that is sustainable and in a way that builds success for all of us.